Okay, so what you're seeing is stretch marks. It looks very crazy, but this is part of the process of camouflaging stretch marks. So in this video, I'm going to show you what I'm doing is I'm matching the stretch mark to the surrounding skin tone. I'm mixing a color where I use multiple colors and I mix to match the skin tone of the client. The stretch marks are lighter in color than the surrounding skin, so I'm matching the surrounding skin. Now I'm mixing it up, and the way that we're going to perform this is by diluting the pigment down so we're not giving the person tiger stripes. And the process of how we're going to do it is making sure that we're marking it and then going in a system of a flow. So because with stretch marks, and as you can see in the beginning part of the video, they were red and raised. And if you don't kind of start in one area and move to another area, what happens is you're going to lose all of the smaller ones in the midst of it getting swollen and swelling and stuff like that. So what you want to do is you want to start in one area, kind of mark the areas, and then move in one direction, and then don't go back to that area. So once you hit that area, hit it and then move on. I'm going to implant the pigment into the stretch marks. And how the technique is just moving very fast. So you can see the ink spreading a lot along the surface, and that's just because of the way that we're diluting the pigment. Then I'm going to go through each area and hit all of the major ones, all the smaller ones first, and then I'll hit all the major ones in one area. So you can see I started at the top where I marked it first, and then I hit all the little tiny ones because those are the ones that I possibly might lose first. And then I'll go back and I'll just stay in that one area, but I'll hit all of them, the bigger ones that I can noticeably see, even if the small ones were there and the area swells up a little bit. You really want to move pretty fast. You don't want to pack. And as soon as you see it, you may see a little bit of a pinpoint bleed. That's normal. That's part of the process. Also, stretch marks are scar tissue, right? So as soon as you start doing it, you're going to see that pinpoint bleed. But by the time I move to the bottom area that I marked, you'll start to notice that the stretch marks are going to start to raise up. They're going to look slightly hypertrophic and raise up. So you want to make sure that you're letting the client know and giving them the expectations that this is going to look worse before it looks better. And it's never just one and done. You want to kind of get through one pass through the whole thing and then have them come back in 4 to 6 weeks for a follow-up, and then you can adjust as needed there. And then also go back and hit any areas that are a little light and or that were smaller and that you may have missed along the way because you had a lot of areas that may have gotten red and you missed some of the small ones, which is normal. It's a normal part of the process. But there is a method behind it, and different stretch marks we can work differently in depending on the stretch mark. So there's different techniques on how to move the machine depending on what type of stretch marks you are working in. So you can see in some of these that I'm moving fast. There's a couple other ones that I'm using, and I might move a little different, or I might do a technique of 2 different techniques when I'm moving in with the machine for different types of stretch marks. So with that being said, these stretch marks were lighter than the surrounding skin. So in that case, I would tattoo them, but I'm very, very particular on what stretch marks I take on for camouflage. There are other ways to improve the stretch marks, and there are different needle sizes that we use depending on the stretch marks. But this is going to give an amazing result. Anywhere that she had the stretch marks that were lighter in color, we did. And any of the stretch marks that are a little different in texture, a little deeper, or in different areas, I may use different needle sizes like this. So this is going to be great. We're going to post healed videos, and when she comes back for her follow-up in 4 to 6 weeks. I hope you like this video. Drop down if you have any questions, and really be careful with stretch marks. Make sure you're properly trained.